When was the last time that you have spoken to your boss? Today, last week, last month? You can remember? It's not good. Maybe you feel isolated and alone in your remote working setup. Not good. Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel Software Testing. Still Daniel Knott here. Happy that you're here and listening and watching. Today I have a different topic for you. You could already see it in the little introduction about remote leadership topic, and you can see it right now on the slide as well, is remote leadership and why you, in case you are a leader, should care about your people. Myself, I'm working in a remote setup or hybrid setup, so I could go to the office, but most of the time I'm working at home because my team or my whole department that I'm leading is distributed across Germany and in Europe. So sometimes it doesn't make sense for me to go to the office because nobody there, so I can stay home. So if you're a leader or a direct report of a remote leader, this comes with challenges, right? And I would like to give you some ideas on how to handle the remote situation, what you can do as a leader in order to have a good working environment and now have a better working relationship, right? So let's get started. So I bet the most of you remember March 2020. So what you have done there, I know it exactly. I was sitting in the office with my team working on a product, and then out of nowhere there was an email saying stay at home. Yes, pandemic, Corona. We had to leave office, and I was saying to my colleagues, hey, we are used to remote because we were able to work in a remote setup, but the majority of time we met in the office because it was cool. We had fun together, and we was joking like, in 6 weeks we see each other on a regular basis. And now almost 3 years later, I'm still working in a remote setup, completely crazy and weird, but that's the new norm, right? So remote work is becoming the new norm, but it also brings challenges to our health. So let's explore how we as leaders who prioritize the well-being of your teams or our teams. And that's basically the core idea of this topic, is that with remote work and remote leadership, there comes responsibility to care about your people. And as I said, if you work as a direct report, so you have a remote leader in your company, and this person is not treating you well or is not caring about the things that you are doing, maybe you should talk about it in the next one-on-one meeting, for example. So maybe you can get some ideas right now. So because remote work comes with a huge drawback from my point of view, and I can feel it myself sometimes too. And this is reduced social interactions. When I go into the public transportation, I sometimes feel weird because there's so many people around. Or I was on a concert a couple of months ago. It's like, oh my God, so many people. I wasn't used to it. So the reduced social interaction has an impact to our lives, because human beings are people who like to have social interactions. And lucky me, I have really great neighbors, friends, family that I can visit and talk to, and also my wife is around, my kids are around, so I have lots of social interactions on a daily basis. But in case you have no family or you live alone, this looks completely different, and this is difficult and dangerous as well. And I brought some statistics. So according to CIPIA, 86% of remote workers say they are burned out at their current jobs. That's a lot compared to the 81% in hybrid and the 70% in person situations. That's crazy. So this is not good. So we have to treat this well, right? And then 33% of workers say they don't want to work from home in the future. So there's a little trend now happening right now. You can see it also in the news. Bigger companies in the US, they start to bring back people to the office because of working modes and also of creativity moment and stuff like that. And always when I'm in the office and I meet people and we talk about projects, it feels great. It's so much easier than do this with any messenger system that we have on video. So I think there will be a movement happening in the next few years back to the office rather than remote. Of course, there are companies saying now we work all remote, but these companies have been working all the time and since the very first minute in a remote setup. And you have to be used to it, right? You have to have the whole environment around you needs to be remote. So it doesn't make sense if only like 1 or 2 people work remotely and the rest of the company comes to the office. But instead, if everyone is remote, that's a different setting. Yeah, so it can work. And of course, you need to have a stable social environment as well. And also another number is 41% of workers who do a high amount of remote work say they feel high level of stress always or most of the time. Yeah, this can also be the case depending on the company, the leadership skills, the way the company treats people. There can be stress, there can be pressure on the people's neck and people's shoulders saying, okay, you have to be finished next week, in order to ship it or whatnot. So this can be stressed out. And also the fact that you are like always on, also less movement. I mean, when I was like going to the office every day, I had easy 10K steps a day, because commuting to train station back and forth and walking in the lunch break and stuff. Now 4,000 in good days if I really move around, and then I have to do a lot of sports on top of that, because otherwise I would be like double the size now. So the highest priority for leaders is to care about their people, about your people. Yeah. So if you are a leader in being a team lead, director, head of what not, you have to care about your people in a remote setup. Talk to them. Yeah, it's important. So what are the challenges when it comes to remote leadership? First of all, the communication barriers. What I mentioned before is sometimes companies navigate in different time zones, different languages. They reliance on digital tools is a big challenge. I mean, I think you have faced it all the time already. I don't know, the messenger tool is crashing during the video conversation, camera is not working, the lighting is bad, surroundings are bad, the microphone is bad, and so forth. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong. Yeah. Then of course the physical distance is a challenge. So overcoming the lack of face-to-face interaction and building trust in virtual settings is hard. It's also for me. I enter a meeting room, hi there, I'm here, and we just jump right into the topic. In a real office environment, in best case, you work together to the meeting room or to your workspace, to the workshop space. You talk already some private stuff, some small talk, and then you start slowly getting working. Then also you leave the room, you do something like afterwards. And now in a remote setup, it's like hanging up this call, picking up that call. That's going crazy. Challenge is to manage the work-life balance as well. So helping remote team members to maintain the boundaries between work and personal life is really important. Yeah, and this is challenging for remote leaders, because you have to take care of your people, saying, okay, the working hours are over. Please do something else and don't work late night or something like that. Yeah. So you need to be aware in case a colleague or co-worker is sending emails always during the night. Raise the question like, hey, what's going on? You work the whole day. Why are you replying to the message in the night and stuff like that? This is something that is important, because otherwise you burn the people completely to the ground. And then of course the team collaboration is more challenging, right? Like foster collaboration, creativity, creating a team spirit is hard without in-person interaction. I mean, when I remember the times being in the office, we were joking, laughing all the time, talking about the latest sports events that happened in the last day. We had some coffee together, and this physical local interaction is important for us, and something that you cannot really do in a remote setup. You can do something, but it's not the same way. Yeah. So factors for good remote leadership. Let's take a look. Clear communication is important. So you have to set up expectations, you have to provide feedback, and you have to ensure always an open line of communication. So you as a leader, you have to be available for your people in case they have issues, they have problems in this remote setup. Yeah, and with clear communication, I mean, you can define, like, let's say open hours, say, okay, from 8 in the morning to 12 to 1 in the afternoon, you can call me anytime, I'm always available, or something like that. So depending on your workload, on the focus time that you have, set the clear communication, have your calendars open and public and up to date. Yeah, it helps a lot. Trust and empowerment is also really important. So you have to empower your remote team members to make decisions on their own, and you have to trust them and you have to trust their abilities. Because imagine you're working in different time zones and there your coworker has a problem or has a question or is already aware of the solution but is not, like, let's say, brave enough or like not senior enough to make the decision, and he or she is waiting for you to come back online or have like the overlapping time. It's just a waste of time, and you have to empower. You have to tell your people, okay, this is your boundaries, that you can work alone, empowered on your own, make your own decisions, and if of course you need me, I'm here in my clear communication hours. Yeah, that's important. Building relationships, so you have to nurture personal connections through virtual team building activities or social interactions. I don't know, have a coffee chat, have a water cooler channel somewhere. I'll come to that example in a second. And bring people together on a regular basis, even in a remote setup. And don't talk about work-related topics. Talk about anything that is up on the people's mind, right? That's important. And then from time to time, it might be also important to meet in real life. And last but not least is adaptability and flexibility. Yeah, be open to change, embrace technology, and find new innovative solutions on how you can collaborate and work together. It might be your plain old phone without video camera to work best with your peers, right? Or it might be the case that you do your one-on-ones without the camera, but you both walk outside, each in its own location. So there can be a lot of stuff going on to adapt and to be flexible and to be open to change and to be open to the individual needs of a particular coworker. Yeah. So these are factors for good remote leadership. What else? The challenges of remote work on health. Yeah. Mental health struggles is a problem. I said it before, the isolation topic is a big thing. The lack of work-life boundaries and the increased stress can impact the mental well-being. Yeah, we have seen the numbers before that more than 80% of people are feeling burned out in a remote setup. And this is because, yeah, people get up in the morning, touch that they just have some little breakfast and they jump right onto the desk basically and to start work. And then maybe they get a cup of coffee in between. They have like a little time short breaks, but they're not leaving the building, so to say, right? So they just stay where they are. So there's no changing of the environment, which has an impact on us and stuff like that. So these isolation topics can have a huge impact on their mental health struggles. As I said it before, lack of movement is a big topic. So you have to find a way around this. And what I do, since I'm working remotely always in the morning, I mean, I have 2 kids. I'll bring them to school and kindergarten, so I have already some movement. But always in lunch break, I go out and move for 15 minutes. I walk around, no matter the weather. I do it. I walk around just to detach from my environment and to go out and get some fresh air, see some people, see something else than a computer screen. And then, of course, in the afternoon or in the evenings, I try to do some sports, like 3 to 4 times a week, to actually get away of all the online notification stress. So that's important for me. You need to find your own solution, and all the people need that. Yeah, and then also like the techno stress, like the constant connectivity and information flow that is popping around us, like always, like notifications here, bling bling, push notification there, email, sound, whatnot, phone is calling, and this is completely madness. Yeah, what I can only recommend here is to switch off the phones, switch off Outlook, switch off your email clients, and then focus, work in silence. And if you're done with your focus time, enable the tools again, start them up, and then you can go jump right into that madness too. Yeah, but this is something that you need to define and to make transparent to your team, that you're not available from, let's say, 8 in the morning till 11. You're offline. You're not available. Nobody can reach you because you have to do your work. It's up to you. So the importance of a healthy environment. So you need to be a role model effect here. So when leaders prioritize and promote health, employees are more likely to follow as suit. So this is the case. When I do sports, usually I talk about it. I share my adventures that I've done on the weekend with my co-workers. Last year I went for a camping trip with my kids. I shared that information on an internal channel, and people say, hey, that's cool, I did it before, and stuff like that. So there's like a conversation starting, and if you are the role model or like being the leader in that regards for your team, they might follow as well. Yeah. A healthy environment has also an increased productivity. Yeah. Healthier workforce leads to improved focus, better results, and so forth. But this is not really my main or my most important topic when it comes to remote leadership. It's much more if you have a healthy environment, that you have a mental health as well established, and you have your body is healthy, you have good enough movement, then it has automatically an impact on your productivity. Yeah. And there are companies doing a lot of stuff, mental health weeks, giving sports equipment out, gym memberships and whatnot. So there's a lot of stuff going on, especially in a remote setup, and that's important. Yeah. And then of course, employee engagement. Caring for employee well-being fosters also the loyalty, trust, and positive work culture. Yeah, you can set up challenges, for example, some sport challenges or some outdoor activity challenges that your co-workers can share their experience with each other. So you actually create a really nice culture around this whole topic of a healthy environment in your team, in your company. Give it a try, right? So what are strategies of remote leadership? So I put the team in the middle of the pyramid. And on top of it is, of course, establishing clear goals. So set clear goals and provide a roadmap to ensure alignment and focus. And with roadmap, I don't mean like a product roadmap. It can be anything that is for you to plan and to give clear goals to your direct reports. Because these goals or targets or tasks, they give them guidance. And the cool thing is, the smaller they are, the better for also the mental health and also for the focusing. So because if the person knows, okay, that task is done, I can take a break, I can go out, I can do some sports and so forth. Yeah. So establishing clear goals is important. Another one is encouraging autonomy is important. So you have to empower your remote team members to take ownership and responsibility, to make their own decisions. I mentioned before, and that's really important, because it's not the case like in the office, just like, hey Daniel, can you help me? Can you come over? This is not possible. And sometimes people don't want to call you or would like to interrupt you because you're in your focus time. And then you need to empower them, encourage them for autonomy so they can do their own decisions. Then of course, regular check-ins. Schedule regular video calls, one-on-ones, meetings with your direct reports. And if you are in a remote environment and you don't have a one-on-one meeting with your boss, ask for it. Yeah, set it up. I have every 2 weeks with all of my direct reports, I have at least 15 or 30 minutes of one-on-one calls. Yeah, and there is only really rare cases when we cancel those meetings, because sometimes we just talk 5 minutes, all good. But I've seen the person, I know that he or she is acting in the same way, he's looking the same, his whole attitude, his how he's like talking to me hasn't changed, because that's important sometimes, because if people like become slower and have a weird, like not weird, but have a different attitude, and also like how they look into the camera, you can already get some ideas on, okay, is everything okay with him or her? Yeah, and so you can ask questions, support the person with some coaches and what is available out there, and help them to stay healthy and happy. Yeah, and in these regular calls you can get all this information out, right? So that's important. So these are the 3 strategies what I say you can start with, right? So effective communication models, and with effective, it's just things that I've seen, of course. And in a remote setup, of course, you have to have video conference to have this face-to-face interactions. I really don't like it if people switch off the camera in a remote setup, because I think like, okay, sometimes it's okay if you sneeze your nose or whatnot, and you have to just, don't want to show others that you're doing this, or you eat while you have a meeting and you inform the people, hey, I'm eating right now and I don't want to be like eat in public and everyone can watch me eating, then this is totally fine. But it should have like a face-to-face interaction for better understanding and connection, because then you can also see, okay, is the person still active listening? Is something going on? What's his or her reaction to it? It's like, what is he talking about? You see the miming and gestures, that's important. Collaboration tools is important, so you can tools such like for project management, communications, for workflow management, for brainstorming sessions. There are a lot of tools out there that you can use in order to work together visually as well. Written communication is also important. Choose the right channels and the different types that you would like to use for your written communication. Many companies, they use a wiki to document things. Some use Word document files, or I don't know what files on a remote drive. It's up to you, but you have to define your communication style, and also when to write an email, when to chat, when to call, and these kind of topics. Clear it out, make some rules on it, and then it's much easier for you to work remotely together. And of course, active listening is also something that is important, like really proactive active listening skills, like bring you back to the table, so to say, the attention. Try to switch off all like phones, close all browser tabs, close the browsers in case you don't need them, to really be focused on that meeting. And that's important, right? To have like an inclusive environment and to be part of the conversation, not like, okay, what is he saying? So like this kind of moment, just avoid it. And if you see that people tend to do this, ask questions like, hey, why are we behaving like that? What's wrong with that? And last but not least, also not last but not least, but sometimes it's important to meet in person, on a regular basis, every quarter, for example. Or there are a lot of companies have great examples. They meet, for example, quarterly in person, and then they do team building activities and so forth. So, motivation and engagement of remote teams. You have to celebrate milestones. That's important. I mean, in the good old times in the office, we had a beer together. We went out in the afternoon after work and did something together. And now this in a remote setup is not so easy, right? So you have to recognize the team achievements in a remote setup, right? Start a GIF party, for example. Everybody can post their favorite GIF, or like share some funny videos, or just, I don't know, whatever you do, but celebrate the milestones, and also give direct feedback. Give it right away. Give positive feedback as well. It will help people a lot to keep engaged. Have some virtual team building events. I'm not the biggest fan of it, to be honest, but I did once like like pizza cooking. It felt weird. Everybody was in this kitchen, dirty hands, a laptop next to it, and then we should talk and show our pizzas. It was nice, but it's not the same thing, right? But at the same time, you can organize some virtual team organization, building activities, playing some online games, and just talk casually about things. Have a regular meeting available for your team. And then, of course, support the work-life balance. You as a leader, you should know the work situations that your direct reports are in. If you know that you have a co-worker that got just like a father or mom, you know that they have other topics right now in their mind, and they might be tired from time to time, and this is something that you should encourage and support them in being more flexible hours. And also it helps a lot to put pressure from their shoulders and to prevent burnouts, right? So that's important. Know your team, know their personal situations, and help them to get over them or to support them if you can. And again, meeting from time to time in real life is also important. When you do meet in real life environments, do some team building things. Don't do like only working workshops, brainstorming sessions. Go out, enjoy yourself, and then that's really cool. You can see the difference next time you meet online, how the team dynamics are changing when you've done something in real life. It's crazy. It's cool. So, tips for remote collaboration teamwork. Yeah, first of all, number one tip is establish team norms. So define exact behaviors and guidelines of the collaboration. How you would like to work together, where you would like to work together, when. Set clear guidelines for response times and availabilities. It's important. If you have this cleared out, there will be no trouble, no issues. It's just written down and everybody agrees, good to go. Yeah, promote virtual collaboration. Yeah, use brainstorming sessions. Use everything that you've done in an office environment. Try to move it also in the virtual world. Yeah, to see how it works out. Maybe you can use, I don't know, some fancy classes in order to meet virtually in some room. If this works out, go ahead. Yeah, use shared project management tools for increased transparency, and also something that I haven't put in over here, but have your calendar publicly available for all of your direct reports and maybe also for the whole company, because then the people know where you are, what you are doing, and then they might think of, okay, Daniel is working on this topic. Okay, I will not disturb him right now. I will do it later. Yeah. And then I mentioned before, create virtual water coolers, like establish a virtual space for casual conversations. Yeah, and it's really nothing work related. You have some sports channels, some, I don't know, game channels, I don't know, whatever is on the people's mind, have those casual channels, and then people can, like, a short time detach from the focused working hours and just talk about, I don't know, football, basketball, whatever, cycling, whatever's on their mind. It's cool. Yeah. And then of course encourage team members to share about their interests and hobbies, to learn more about them, and maybe you notice that you share a hobby, for example. And then you can talk about details like, hey, why do you do this, and how have you done that, and have you tried this one? And this creates a really nice atmosphere and culture around it. Yeah. So let's put a quick summary on that longer video for today. So working remotely isn't as easy as you think. In the beginning, it's like, yeah, everybody's remote, we can stay home, work in our PJs, and then we get good to go. Yeah, but it requires a lot of self-control, and that's important. When working remote, find your way to disconnect. That's important. Set clear communication guidelines and rules. Trust your people. It's so important. Care about your team. Similar way. When in doubt, no matter what the doubt is, speak openly. Have radical candor. Be open, transparent as possible, and bring the topics to the table. Talk about them. Yeah. And of course, last but not least, be nice to people. Be always nice to people. Respect them in the things they are doing, the things they have done. And if you create such a virtual remote environment, I think that people will be happy, they trust you as a leader, and they will also be loyal to your company and support you in any situation. Yeah, if you establish this really nice remote setup and working environment. And if you're interested in some books that I can recommend for you today, so we have the first one is Engineering Management for the Rest of Us. It's really cool. The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, I can recommend. Team Topologies and also Remote Leadership is a book that I can recommend if you're working in a remote setup, if you're working as a people manager, or even if you're not a people manager yet. Reading those books is also really cool to understand how teams are working, how maybe your people manager is doing things you have never thought about. Maybe you understand him or her better. They help you and they educate yourself. You educate yourself. Yeah. Yeah, and that's it. Almost 30 minutes in today, or even more. Let me know in the comments below what you think about remote leadership. What's your situation? Are you happy in your remote leadership position, or do you struggle with the remote setup? Let me know in the comments below. As always, leave a thumbs up, leave a subscription to support me, and I'm really happy that you have been here today. Bye bye.